This is TJ with Robinhood Coins, and today we're going to be searching through a bag of Mercury dimes. I bought this bag of Mercury dimes from a silver dealer that I have bought from before. It is $10 face value of Mercury dimes, and this dealer knows to look for the 42/41. He knows to look for the key dates, so I don't expect to find anything super rare. However, we do have several spots still open in our Mercury dime album right here. And the last time we bought a bag from him, we were able to fill over 10 holes in that album and upgrade several more. So I'm hoping to find something good for the album, fill some holes, and something good for the Robinhood Coins giveaway for this video. As always, I give away something from the hunt, and this is a hunt. Just because we can't hunt these Mercury dimes in dime boxes, otherwise it would take decades. So, as always, if you want to enter that giveaway, just comment on this video, and then we'll use a random comment picker on our weekly Saturday winners video to pick the winner. So here is an update on how we're doing on the album. We had a total of 11 holes on page 1, 7 holes on page 2, and then 4 holes on page 3. However, we have the 1942 2/1, 1942 Denver 2/1, and the 1945 S Micro S, and so those might be harder than normal to find, so that might actually take longer than it sounds. But hopefully we have a bunch that'll fill holes on this hunt, so let's see what we get. I'll be using these grading guidelines in the red book, and there's a link to this book in the video description in case you wanted to buy it. And this is how I'll be discerning which one, if I have multiple, should go in the album. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started, and we're just going to dump it out here, and we will start separating them out by decade. So we'll start off with the teens, the 20s, the 30s, and then the 40s separately, and then from there we'll start separating them out by mint mark, so that way we can compare each of the year mint marks against the album and see if any upgrade the album, as well as obviously fill any spots. Well, by now I've already started the time lapse, so I will see you as soon as we're done separating them out. Alright, so we have them all laid out here, and the good news is we have exactly $10 face value, so that's good. We had a total of 11 from the teens. We had 20 from the 20s. I thought that was ironic. We had 14 from the 30s, and then we had 55 from the 40s. That's about the right proportion that I would expect coming from a silver dealer that really only pulls out key dates. He only pulls out the super rare stuff. So that's why you find some teens and 20s in there as well. So now what we'll go ahead and do is we will look through the teens, see if anything upgrades or fills a hole, and then we'll get those in the album, and then we'll go through the 20s, the 30s, and the 40s just like that. So we are all done going through the teens, and these 7 right here are not going to make it into the album, but these 4 right here are. Now, for full disclosure, the teens that I have in my album are pretty worn, so believe it or not, this one right here is an upgrade. It is a Philadelphia 1916. We had a 1917 Philadelphia that is barely going to upgrade the one in the album. And then we had this 1918 Philadelphia that is actually going to fill a spot. And it's in decent enough condition that you could tell there's no mint mark there. Better than it being so slick that it could have been one with a mint mark, but you can't tell because it's slicked out. So that's going to fill a spot, so that's cool. And this 1919 Philadelphia is barely going to upgrade a spot as well. On to the 20s. Out of the 20 from the 20s, we had a total of 3 that are going to make it into the album, and I'm pretty excited because 2 of them are going to fill spots. This is a 1920. It's got a lot of gunk, or really I think it's just heavily toned, but it is a 1920 Denver, and I needed that one, so that one's going to go in there. There was actually another one, but the O, you could barely tell it was an O, and the mint mark on the reverse was also pretty hard to tell. So I went ahead and chose this one because it has a lot more detail even though it has the black spots and the toning. And then we have a 1927 San Francisco that is also going to fill a spot. Pretty good detail, so that is really cool. And then we had this 1928 San Francisco that is actually going to upgrade. Not by much, but I'll take it all day long. We are all done going through the 30s this time, and we did have another album filler. This 1931 San Francisco is actually going to fill a spot. I need both the 31 Denver and the San Francisco, but we just found this one, so that is pretty cool. That'll fill a spot. And then the 1936 right here, this has got a lot of detail, and it is from Philadelphia. You can see the bands. They're not complete bands that go diagonally across the fasces, but you can see them better than the one that I have in the book. And then this also has pretty good detail on this 1936 Denver. And again, you can see the lines and the bands around it. Most of the bands, not complete, but better than the ones I have in the book. So that is pretty cool. So I am barely working on the first stack and a half of the 1940s, and I think I found a micro S. Here is what I think is the normal S, and you can kind of see the size, see how big it is compared to the E and the position. And then let's slide it over and let's look at the one that I think is the micro S. Look how much smaller that is, even to the point where the bottom hook of the S is starting to touch the top hook of the S, and same with the top right. So, and you could just see how much smaller that is. And I'll go back over to this one just so you can see it. But, and even the openings right here are bigger. So that is exciting. This coin right here will fill a spot in the album, the 1945 San Francisco Micro S. As I was sorting out the 40s by year and by mint mark, I noticed this 1945 S with the normal S, and look at that, the mint mark, how wide, how thick the S is on that top left portion. Just figured I'd share just a really interesting abnormality when it comes to the stamp. But also, I guess the 1945 S's aren't as rare as I thought. Either that or I just got pretty lucky, because we actually have a total of 3. There's one, there's number 2, which I think is actually the first one that I found. And then here is the third one. So we have 3 1945S with the micro S. So far for the 40s, since there was so many, I went ahead and laid them out by year and mint mark. 1940, and then Philadelphia, Denver, San Francisco, and then 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45. And this is the micro S, the 3 micro S's that we have found so far. Next up, I'm going to check the 1942s for the 42/1, and then I'll go through each year, and I'll check the best one against the album to see if I have any upgrades. So I just got done going through the 40s, and unfortunately those 42s are not the 42/41. Checked every single one of them very thoroughly. Can't wait to find my first one of those. But we had 3 on the bottom here that will upgrade. We had this 1941 right here. I believe it is a San Francisco. That is barely going to upgrade. The fasces is just a little bit cleaner. The bands are a little bit cleaner than the specimen that I have in my album. And then we had the 1945 right here. I believe this one is Denver. And you could see that is pretty good detail for as old as it is. That one's going to be an upgrade. These are just slight upgrades, but they are upgrades. This is a 1945 San Francisco, the normal S. And that one, look at that. These fasces, you can see the bands on all 3 portions. And so you can even see the split between the bands on the top. So that's really cool. And then the top 2 right here are going to be album fillers. So I needed the 1944 San Francisco. So that will fill that spot. And then we got that 1945 San Francisco with the micro S right there that we showed under the scope. And that was the best of the three. Well, the album's coming along nicely. First page is down to only 9 holes, including that 1916 Denver, which is super hard to find. 5 holes in page 2 and just 2 holes in page 3. Very cool. I like to search junk silver purchases for my album fillers, and then I sell some of the excess. That way I can buy more. The Robinhood Coins giveaway for this video is going to be 5 Mercury dimes, and it's going to be at least one from each of the decades. First up, we have the 1916 right here. We have a 1927. Then we have a 1935. We have a 1944. And then finally we have a 1945 San Francisco with the normal S right there. As always, to enter the giveaway, just comment on this video and then make sure you watch our Saturday winners video to see if you won. I hope you enjoyed this video as much as we enjoyed the hunt. It was a lot of fun. I really enjoy building the albums and building the collection this way. If you did, smash that like button. If you enjoy our content, hit subscribe and don't forget to ring the notification bell so you don't miss any giveaways or videos. And we will see you on the next hunt.